Hello students. In today's lecture, we are going to start our new chapter, which is multiplexing, spread spectrum techniques, and media access control. So this chapter is divided into three basic concepts, as you can see here. Multiplexing, spread spectrum techniques, and media access control. First is your multiplexing techniques. Second is your spread spectrum techniques, and last one is your media access control, that is MAC. So we are going to study in detail each and every technique. In multiplexing, we have FDM, WDM, and TDM. In case of spread spectrum technique, we have FHSS and DSSS. In case of MAC, we have a random access protocol, controlled access protocol, and channelized protocol. After that, uh, in random access, we have Aloha, slotted Aloha, CSMS, CSMS CD, CSMS CA. Okay, we are going to discuss what is like a long form of this, how they are working. Like in detail, we are going to discuss inside the point. In case of controlled access protocol, we have reservation, polling, and token passing. And in channelized protocol, we have FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA. Okay, so today we are going to start with the multiplexing technique, which is FDM, WDM, and TDM. All right, so without any delay, let's get started. First point is nothing but a frequency division multiplexing. Before that, we should know what is multiplexing, right? So multiplexing is the process of transmission of information. That information may be of any type. It may be a audio signal, picture data, or any other format of information. So we can just transmit that information from one more than one sources to more than one destination. The concept behind multiplexing is that we can transfer data which is coming from multiple sources, and we can transfer that same data to the multiple destinations, right? So sending number of separate signals together over a same cable or medium. Okay, just try to understand the concept. We are going to send the number of separate signal. Suppose we have 10 different signals and we want to transmit all the 10 signals simultaneously over a single channel without any interference. Then we can use the technique of multiplexing, right? So in multiplexing, the first type is the frequency division multiplexing. It is popularly also called as FDM, that is frequency division multiplexing. Here, what happens in frequency division multiplexing? Look at this diagram. Here, I have drawn two axes. First, this is your time axis and this is your frequency axis. All right. So in case of FDM, frequency is divided. As its name indicates, frequency division is there, right? So how that frequency gets divided, we'll see that. Suppose if there is a transmission going on, okay? If there are four different persons, user one, user two, user three, and user four, these are the four persons who are transmitting data, right? But they are using a FDM technique. Then what happens inside that FDM technique? This is a time axis, right? As you can see here, to none of the user, the time is limited, right? Each and every one can use the time axis without any objection or without any difference, right? So user 1 or user 2 or user 3 or user 4, all of them can use this time for unlimited time access for unlimited time, correct? But there is a frequency distribution. Okay, user 1 is allowed to use only this much of frequency, user 2 is allowed to use only this much of frequency, user 3 allowed to use this frequency, and user 4 is allowed to use only this frequency. Now user 4 cannot use frequency which is allotted to user 1. User 1 cannot use the frequency which is allotted to user 3, right? So what happens here, the frequency is divided among the number of users. If there are 10 users, then we can just divide this entire frequency spectrum to the 10 different users, but there is no limitation on time. Okay, they can transfer their data, or they can just share their information for a unlimited period of time. All right. So FDM is a process in which frequency gets divided as per the number of users. Okay. In FDM, all users uses the common channel at the same time for a full time. Correct. So time is same for all. There is no division of time in FDM, right? But they are allotted different frequency to prevent interference, right? User 1 is having its own frequency band, user 2 is having its own frequency band, user 3 also, and user 4 also, they have their own separate frequency band. Why? To avoid the interference. Very basic reason is to avoid the interference. So the bandwidth is divided among the users and not time. As I just told you, the bandwidth whatever the entire bandwidth we have, we just divide that bandwidth among the number of users, and we are not going to divide the time. There is a possibility of crosstalk in FDM. Now, as you can see here, in between the frequency of user 4 and user 3, there is no space, right? So that what will happen, the message bits of this user 4 may get added into the user 3's information, right? So possibility of crosstalk. Crosstalk is what? Exchanging or information or mixing of information between two users when there is no band of separation, right? So there is a possibility of crosstalk in FDM as all signals are transmitted at the same time and there is no guard band. What is guard band? If we have allotted some sort of frequency band in between two users, then we can just call that frequency as a guard band. Why it is called as a guard band? Because it is protecting two different frequencies with the mixing with each other, right? If we have that guard band, then frequencies cannot mix with each other. If we add guard band in the frequency, total bandwidth will increase. Now, see this concept. This is, suppose this is 0 frequency and this is 10K frequency. If we use a guard band, what will happen? We should add little amount of frequency in between all the two users, right? So here I have to add some frequency. Here also I have to add some frequency. Here also I have to add some frequency, which is completely not in use, right? It is just to protect the interference. That is why the entire bandwidth is going to increase. This is the very biggest disadvantage of FDM. If we added a guard band frequency, then total bandwidth will increase, which will be again create a problem, right? To avoid the problem of crosstalk, TDM process is used. Now that we have seen that there are some drawbacks in the FDM technique, and to overcome or to reduce those drawbacks, we have another system which is time division multiplexing, which is TDM, time division multiplexing. Now look at the diagram. In this diagram, we have two similar axes, frequency and time, right? As you can see here, user 1, user 2, user 3 are using a time axis which is divided. Okay, user 1 is allowed to use only this much of time. After user 1, there is a user 2's time period will start. Once user 2 finishes its time period, user 3 is allowed to use the channel. And another thing is that there is no division in the frequency axis. User 1 is allowed to use entire frequency band. User 2 is also allowed to use entire frequency band. User 3 is also allowed to use entire frequency band. But there is a division in time. And that is why it is called as a time division multiplexing, right? So here time gets divided, not frequency. In frequency division multiplexing, the situation was completely reversed. There was a division in frequency and time is same for all. But here the process is completely different. In TDM, time is divided as per the number of users, right? If we are having 3 users, we can just divide the entire time period in 3 equal sections. If we are having 4 users, then we can just divide time period according to that. All users can use complete channel bandwidth, right? So as I just told you, user 1 is allowed to use entire bandwidth. User 2 is also allowed to use entire bandwidth. 3 is also allowed to use entire bandwidth. So time slot is not fixed for each user. Time slot is fixed for each user. In figure, user 1 is getting full bandwidth for transmission, but time slot is limited. Here you can see user 1 is using full bandwidth, right? But the time period is limited. He cannot use that. User 1 cannot use the entire time period. Correct. Once the time slot of user 1 finishes, user 2 will start using the entire bandwidth for its allotted time. Now, once user 1 finishes his time, then user 2 will start using the entire bandwidth for its given time. Right? After user 2, user 3 will use the entire band of frequency for this limited time period. Correct? That means each user is using full bandwidth for its own time slot, correct? And only one user is transmitting data at a time. There is no crosstalk. See, here we are using on TDM technique in which only one user is using the entire bandwidth at a time. At a time, number of multiple signals are not transmitting. Only one user is transmitting that data. That is why there is a less chances of, like you can say, there are no chances of crosstalk in case of TDM. All right. And the very last type of the multiplexing is wavelength division multiplexing. Now, this is dependent on the refraction through the prism phenomenon. Now, you might have heard the refraction through the prism concept. What is this? If we put a prism and if we allow white light to pass through it, then what will happen? We'll observe colored light at the end of the prism, like on the other side of the prism. Correct. So this is what happens in case of WDM. Now, here white light is nothing but the senders or the information which is sent by the senders. Prism is nothing but your channel, and colored light is nothing but your, again, providing that information to the particular user. Now, in case of WDM, it is very popular method to increase the capacity of single strand fiber. Now, there is a concept of strands of the fiber, single strand, multi-strand. What is that? If you look at the fiber optical cable, the number of multiple inputs it is nothing but a strand. Okay, if it's having only single wire inside it, then it will be called as a single strand fiber. Now, method or technique of refraction of light through the prism is used in WDM. I just told you that WDM is used the technique of refraction of light through the prism. If white light is passed through the prism, it will get separated into different colors. We know this phenomenon. If you are allowing white light to pass through the prism, it will give us a different colors at the other side. Or if we use the prism in the reverse direction, what will happen? See here, if we allow to enter colored light from this direction, okay, colored light is entering into the prism from this side. On the other side, what will we observe? We are going to observe a white light, right? So it can be used in both directions. If you are allowing to enter white light, you will get colored light. If you are entering a colored light, you will get a white light, right? The same principle we are going to use in the WDM. Same idea is used in the WDM. Only one colored light is used on a single strand fiber to transmit the data. Now look at this. This is signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, signal 4. Now here, remember one thing. We are considering WDM, wavelength division multiplexing. So we are going to divide the wavelength. There is no concept of frequency. There is no concept of time. In case of WDM, we are going to divide the wavelength. Why? Because wavelength division multiplexing is about, like, if you are transmitting data in the optical format, right, then and then only you will use this WDM process, right? If you have data in the electrical format, then you can go for TDM or FDM. But if you have data which is to be transmitted in the form of optical light or optical energy, then you must have used this WDM process, that is wavelength division multiplexing. Correct. So we have different wavelengths, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4. Four different wavelengths we are going to have. We are going to superimpose all the four wavelengths on a single strand fiber. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, this is, so consider this is an optical fiber. Then what will happen? All the four wavelengths are superimposed on this single strand fiber. It will travel along its path, and at the end, it will get separated as it was. Right, wavelength 1, 2, 3, 4 will get separated. Now combining a number of signals into a single signal is called as multiplexing. I just told you this in the very beginning of this lecture, that multiplexing is what? Sending multiple data on a single channel. So this is multiple data, and we are going to send this multiple data on a single channel. This is nothing but multiplexing, and demultiplexing is exactly opposite to the multiplexing. What is that? Just separating out the already combined data into its original format. So this is the combined format, combined data, and we are going to separate that data into its original format. Right, W1 will get separated from W2, 3, and 4. So this is how you will get your first wavelength, second wavelength, third wavelength, and fourth wavelength. This process is called as demultiplexing, separating the original data from the combined data. Right. So this is all about your multiplexing technique: frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing, and time division multiplexing. We'll start spread spectrum techniques in the next lecture.